Have you ever sat down in front of your computer and you're ready to dive into an edit and it's just not coming together? The pieces are not lining up, it's full of continuity errors, the pacing is all wrong, there's audio issues. This is really common and it's really frustrating. I deal with this all the time. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 tricks and 3 effects that I use to be able to help me salvage an edit so that it doesn't fall apart. Number 1 is the speed tool. You can change the speed of your clip by either slowing it down or speeding it up. This can be really helpful if you're struggling with the pacing in your video. If you need to speed things up or slow them down to really be able to match things up with the music or match things up with the pacing, or if you really just want to land on a shot and really just let the audience take in a specific moment, you can do that by changing the speed of your clip. Now, the frustrating thing about changing the speed of your clips is that if you want to slow your videos down, you need to really think about that before you're actually shooting. You need to be doing that in camera by shooting at higher frame rates, like 60 frames per second or even 120 frames per second. If you try to slow down a clip that does not have enough frames in it, your end result is going to look very choppy and very broken up. So it's kind of difficult to do that if you shot everything in 24 frames per second, for example. Fortunately though, for very specific shots, you're able to use a tool called Optical Flow. What this does is it takes the frames that it has and it uses that information and it basically paints new frames between them, which helps you to have a nice smooth shot so you don't have this choppy effect. Now, does it always work? No. There's some times where the camera movement is too much or your subject is moving around too much, so slowing things down doesn't really look that good, but there are plenty of moments where this tool comes in handy and I've used it on multiple occasions. In this example here, I called cut way too soon and the actor broke character, so it didn't really work. I couldn't really use that shot for very long, but I really liked that shot for that specific moment, and it just needed to be drawn out a little bit longer to match up with the music and the sound effects. It just was going to feel right if I could use that shot for a little bit longer. So I used Optical Flow and I stretched that shot out in post so I was actually able to use the shot in my edit. And there's also plenty of times where I do the opposite, to be able to take away huge pauses, and I really don't want my audience to get bored or to get distracted because there's all these pauses between 2 pieces of dialogue. By doing this, you keep your audience engaged and you make sure that the video is nice and snappy. Number 2 on this list is a very unconventional, very unorthodox effect that I frequently use, and that is reversing the footage. Now, why would I want to do this? It doesn't really make that much sense, but it has come in handy and saved my multiple times. There was one time where I was filming a wedding and I completely missed the bride and the groom kissing. This is the climax of the video. This is what everyone wants to see, and yet somehow I didn't press record on time. I got the shot of them separating, not them coming together, which is really not a very romantic shot for a wedding. And I was frustrated and I was scrubbing through the footage and I was trying to find some way that I could salvage the edit, and then it hit me. If I reverse the footage of them separating, they're coming together. Which is ridiculous. It's very unconventional, very unorthodox, but it worked and the clients had no idea. Number 3 is an effect and a tool that I use very frequently as I'm filming these YouTube videos, as well as whenever I'm doing more client shoots and more corporate videos, interview style videos, pretty much any kind of video that is a talking head video. And this is the smooth cut tool that I use very frequently in DaVinci Resolve to be able to take away those ums and ahs and those ridiculous pauses that you might have in a corporate video. What this effect is it pretty much just takes 2 frames and it sort of morphs them together so you don't have a huge jump cut. You want to avoid jump cuts as much as possible because they are distracting and they're a little bit less formal. I don't mind them so much for these YouTube videos, but for client shoots and for interviews and for commercial projects, they're just not appropriate. And so what I do is I just take the smooth cut tool and I just slap these 2 clips together, and most of the time I'm able to get away with it, especially if it was just for a slight moment. Now, this doesn't always work, especially if my hand is, say, up here and then the next shot it's down here. I can't really cut these 2 clips together because you're going to see a weird blah, blah, blah with my arm or with my head moving about, even my eyes dotting back and forth and kind of having this weird blur that makes me look like a crazy monster. So keep that in mind. Take a very close look at your image before sending it off to your client when you use this tool. But very often, very frequently, I use this tool and it really helps my client to look more confident and really make the video a lot snappier and a lot more presentable, because I'm taking away all of those really unnecessary words or really unnecessary moments. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you guys, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell so you're getting those notifications, you know, do all that jazz. And also feel free to leave in the comments down below all kinds of suggestions if you have any other editing effects that you really rely on very frequently. This is just the tip of the iceberg. DaVinci Resolve has so many more options and so many more effects that are really awesome. So leave your notes in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.